Mean from a frequency table today. A survey of 100 households asked how many cars there were in each household. The results are given below. Calculate the mean number of cars per household. And we've been given this extra column to do something in. In an exam, that almost definitely won't be there, and you'll need to work out that you need to add it yourself. And in that column, all we're going to do is multiply these two numbers together and put them in there. So I'm just going to write a little reminder. So that's going to be this first column times by this second column. So 0 multiplied by 5, so we do these two first, is going to give us 0. 1 times 70 is 70, 2 times 21 is 42, 3 times 3 is 9, and 4 times 1 is 4. Now, to work out the mean, I add them all up and divide by how many there are. So I need to add all of these up here and then divide by how many there are, which will be the total frequency. So I'll add the frequency together, and I don't really need to because I know it's going to give me 100 because the question tells me that. And I'll add together these parts over here, and that gives me 125. So the mean was add them all together, which I've done here, and divide by how many there are, which I've got here. So 125 divided by 100 is 1.25, and that is the mean from that frequency table. Notice the mean's always going to be somewhere around these numbers here, so if you've got anything that's not between 0 and 4, you should be able to tell that that's going to be incorrect, and it's usually going to be somewhere around the middle, which 1.25 kind of is, but here notice most of the data is in 0, 1 and 2, so you'd expect the mean, the average, to be somewhere around 1, which is what we've got. This question is slightly different. This is mean from a frequency table that's the data has been grouped together. So we've got little groups here. And notice that this time, this question says calculate an estimate for the mean, because it's not possible just to calculate the mean, because you don't know whereabouts in each group the scores actually are. Some people might have got 7, some an 8, some a 9. You don't know. Okay, again, we've got 2 extra columns added on here that in an exam you almost definitely won't be given. You've got to work out for yourselves that you need to put those on. First of all, what's the modal class? Well, the modal class is just the most common one. The most common group, most common class is 16 to 20. So, an estimate for the mean, because we don't know whereabouts in each group these people lie, we're going to assume that they're sitting in the middle, and we're going to find what you call the midpoint. The midpoint of 6 to 10 will be 8, 13, 18, and 23. So now I need to do kind of what I did before. I'm going to multiply the frequency by the score, which is now the midpoint. So it's going to be frequency times the midpoint. Eight times 8 is 64. 12 times 13 is 156. 16 times 18 is 288. And 4 times 23 is 92. So again, the mean, if you think about the definition, is you've added them all up and then divide by how many there are. So we need to add them all up and divide by how many there are. So we're going to need just another little column here. Now, I don't need to do anything else with the midpoints, so that box is not going to get filled. So I need to add together the frequency times by the midpoints. And if I add them all together, that gives me 600. I need to add together all the frequencies. If I add together those, that gives me 40. So then I'm just looking to do the bit where I've added them all up, divided by how many there are. So 600 divided by 40 is going to be my estimate for the mean. And that is going to be 15. Which, again, if you look to go back and estimate your answer, you knew you were expecting the mean to be somewhere around the middle of this data, which is where 15 roughly is. So that looks about right.